guys, Nolan the Gamer here. Today we're playing The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Now the final boss is very hard in this game. There's multiple levels to it, and it's very hard to even just get to the final boss. So I'm going to be helping you with every little step of the fight. Currently, I am in Terrytown next to my house, but the final boss is all the way over here in Hyrule Castle, near Lookout Landing. If you go on your map, you might see that there's a whole lot of this pink stuff around Hyrule Castle, and that is gloom. You want to avoid that at all costs, because it will break your hearts, and you can only get them back if you eat a special meal. I'm gonna take my horse to Hyrule Castle, I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. If you go to a stable and look at your registered horses, and you go to your favorite horse, you'll be able to see your bond level with them. And if it's over 70, then they will automatically follow paths. Like I am not even touching the controls right now. My horse is automatically steering through the path. You can literally go AFC, away from controller, and your horse will just take you to the end of the path. In Breath of the Wild, you could just head straight to the Sanctum and start the fight. But in this game, there is a huge war, gauntlet, and labyrinth in the depths below Hyrule Castle, where you originally found Ganon in the first cutscene. And also, something that will be useful for you traveling down here is getting the nearby light route, which can be done by diving down here, and then after diving down a little bit more, you'll see this cliff with the light route on it. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. I'm gonna go to the south end, and you'll see this like here. You don't really have to take them out. You can just fly right by. And then once you go down here, you'll see another area, and you can go down here. There are some Horriblins in here, which are a new enemy from Tears of the Kingdom. Just be careful around them. You can climb up really quickly and get away, and they will not care. Ah! I got shocked. Of course, the keys are the one thing that does a ton of damage to me. Then once you go up here, you'll see a white main Lionel. So what you want to do is go into bullet time by jumping off and using your wind gust ability, which you should have right now if you're going to the final boss. Just use a bunch of Keese eyeballs and elemental attacks. That will do a lot of damage right away. And a Muddlebud especially will do a ton of damage and will get him down. So just do a bunch of flurry rushes over and over and over with one of your strongest weapons, and it'll work great. And look, this silver Lionel is almost dead. Once you defeat that Lionel, or avoid it, you can just head over to this side. It's the northeast end, and use Ascend to go straight through this platform. Then you will head deeper in. And this will start falling, so you just want to dive down. I recommend using your paraglider, and you glide into this other room, which you'll see something fall down. Use recall on that, and see, it will take you straight up. As you can see on your map, you're in this area in the depths. I believe you're trying to get over to here, but this area is much deeper than this area, so we have to go all the way around here. Make sure you have 4 shields. That's the max amount that you can get. You need that many. Now, there will be a bunch of frost-likes around here. Just avoid them along with all of the frost keys. Please go away. Like I said earlier, stay away from the gloom because it is cracking my hearts, as you can see. We're just gonna dive down, and this takes us to a lot deeper area. And you can just snipe these two guys, kind of get rid of them. Get them out of the way. Now, your sages will say that they cannot reach you here. Power of a sage cannot reach you. But luckily, you will have the sage abilities for the Ganon fight, because the real sages themselves, Tulin, Sidon, Minoru, Riju, and Yunobo, will actually be there to aid you. As you can see, we are now in this area I was talking about. You can just go right across here, and you might recognize this. This is from the very beginning of the game. Now, there are a bunch of Jibdos in here, but it takes a while for them to wake up, so you can just kind of sprint through. Then in here, you'll see the area from the beginning of the game, but this area is different. You saw these from the geoglyphs, the imprisoning war here, but that's where it ended. This continues, with Zelda standing there, taking the Master Sword and becoming the Light Dragon, which you can see depicted in these 2 new pictures down here. Now, when we were looking at this area in the opening cutscene, Zelda had not gone to the past yet, which means we were living in a different timeline, a different loop of the timeline. And there's a really cool detail down here. There is a torch. This is the torch that Zelda dropped, because all the way up there, that's where she fell. So I am going to cook up some food. And as you can see, by cooking those Sundelions, I now have a dish that will cure my gloom. I still have 3 hearts missing, but it's better than nothing. You do want to prepare some good food for this fight, because it is going to be hard. Note that any damage that you take from Ganon will also crack your hearts. And if you have hearts that are already cracked by gloom, he can permanently get rid of them. So make sure you're prepared. Now you just want to keep heading down. Now be ready to jump, and this will take you into the heart of the gloom. And if you haven't done all 5 of the sages, now the bokoblins are the easiest of the bunch, but it will get harder as it goes on, ending with white moblins. Now there is a boss bokoblin here. Be careful near it, because it can do a lot of damage. And you will get some fairly strong weapons from this fight, so be sure to use some of your strongest fuses. And the real sages are now here to help. Now, do pick up these weapons before you finish off all the enemies, because the weapons do all disappear when you move on to the next round. Alright, now these guys. The Liesel flows.
2 hours later.
Use elemental attacks on the Gyptos. It does a ton of damage, and it just completely one-shots them. Alright, Moblins, say goodbye. Say goodbye. And the Demon King's army is now down. This took me multiple tries, and my footsteps have like a gloom haze. That is so weird. I am literally in one shot. So, I don't rage quit. Seriously? One thing that will really help is to treat Ganondorf like a Lionel and fight him exactly how I showed you to defeat the Lionel earlier in the video. So if you just constantly flurry rush and use some of those elemental attacks, he will be gone very quickly. Now the biggest thing for this is to constantly flurry rush. And when Ganondorf is in his Demon King form after using the Secret Stone, he will get triple health and he'll be able to flurry rush your attacks. So be prepared. Don't have all your hearts cracked like me. That's all for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found it helpful. And now you will be able to beat the game and save Zelda. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.